Hello, everyone. How are you? How are you? It is Tuesday. We are on episode number 20. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Episode number 20 of Just Like You, Everyday People, Amazing Stories. Thank you so much for joining us. I see my guest is already here, so let's get her in and then we'll do the admin. Let's see. I can get you. Hello, hello, Taryn. Hello, hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Taryn. How are you?
Hi. I think you're
Hi.
at me
Do I need to?
or I think you're sideways. Yep.
I'm sideways. I'll make it right.
There you are, beautiful.
All right.
You
We
guys.
good now?
Yes, we are.
All right. How are you?
I was good, honey. I was just telling everyone that we are here every Tuesday, 7:30 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, just like you.
Yep.
Amazing stories. So if something happens with the internet, I always tell the audience, if something happens, we'll be back. We're here until 8 o'clock. And if you have a story or know someone who does, please get in contact with me. I'd love to have you on the show. Everybody has a story. No story is too big. No story is too small. I am seeking guests for 2021. So if you have a story or know someone who does, please get in contact with me. And you guys were hearing that right. Her name is Taryn as well. Woo!
Woo! Two Tarens.
So for people joining, I'm just so excited to have Taryn on the line today. We met at a Lady Gaga concert.
So Lady Gaga, listen up.
And yeah. And so I was in front of you, I think, and I was like, hi, I'm Taryn. And you were like, hi, I'm Taryn too. And so.
And then we swapped IDs. And
yeah.
just to be sure.
And just to be sure, we checked IDs. And then we noticed also that our significant others have the same same name.
Right.
So,
two Taryn and Kenny's. How can that happen?
Kenny's. And double trouble, someone said. Double trouble. That is exactly right. And we're so, I'm just thrilled. So I'm thrilled about that. I'm thrilled to have you, but I'm thrilled about that. You know, I've been thrilled about that for years. So.
And can I just say, I'm super honored that you asked me to be a part of your show. You've got such high quality people and celebrities and all these different people that are guests on your show. And I'm just so honored that you would think of me to be a part of it.
Oh,
so
my goodness. No, I just thank you for coming on. You know, you have a story. We all have a story, right? And that's the important part. There's lots of stuff going on in our world today, and people can take that however they want to take it. But I want this to be a place where people can come for positivity.
Yes.
And I want people to learn people's stories. And I want people to know there are other people out there that could have a similar story or questions about, you know, where you are in your story. So I want to know that. So I want to go ahead and get started because believe it or not, that half an hour goes really fast. So I want people to just start off, Taryn, a little bit about, you know, sharing your story and your journey for us.
Sure. So I always was kind of thinking when I was growing up that I have a purpose and I don't know what that purpose is. And for whatever reason, God gave me a autoimmune disease that was something that I needed to learn how to fight and how to make my journey a positive journey that I can not only do good for myself, but good for other people. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'll take it back about 6 years ago, well, 6.5 years ago, and my sister's on here. So, and I asked her if it was okay if I said something. Mm-hmm. She was diagnosed with MS, and it hit me like a ton of bricks because she is the most important person to me, next to my husband. So those two are same level there. And when she gave me that news, there's nothing I could do to help her other than just be there for her. And it killed me that I couldn't do anything. And 6 months, and there's something inside of me that I was like, you know what? I feel like I might have this too. I just don't know why, but it was just something in me that I just felt it. And 6 months later, little did I know, Christmas Eve, I lost sensation in the middle part of my back to the under part of my left breast, and a month later got an MRI and ended up getting diagnosed. And all these emotions came over me, and my husband, Kenny, he was there with me when I got the news. My doctor actually just left a voicemail. I didn't even actually hear from her directly. So just getting a voicemail saying, hey, you have MS is really heavy, and dropped my phone, or bawling uncontrollably. And my husband and I have always just been such a force to be reckoned with, just because of how we feel like nothing can stop us. We just have that love and that strength, and we just started dancing. And we said, you know what? You know, MS might have you, but it won't keep you back from doing anything that you want to do. So from there on out, I, struggled at the beginning. It was pretty hard. And I know a lot of people who struggle with MS, they go through a little bit of depression and uncertainty. And if you Google what MS is, it goes straight down the dark path. There's not a lot of people who understand what MS is, and being diagnosed with it, you really start to see that not a lot of people understand it, just because you need to explain it, which is completely fine. I'm happy to educate anybody who has questions on it, and be an advocate for those who are recently diagnosed and don't know where to turn. And one thing that I did was I started fundraising. I wanted to fundraise to see about getting research funding to cure this disease. I feel like it's part of my purpose. I don't know if it's my entire purpose. It's my current purpose right now to fight and beat that. So that's what I've been focused on, was with fundraising. And I did a DIY fundraiser, and I was asked to go to the MS Society as like a year-end event to celebrate all the people who did so many DIYs. And I got introduced to the associate board there. So that's a board of young professionals, and they advocate for young people and all people who live with MS. But it's a nice community, because when you go to an MS meeting, being recently diagnosed, and it's a older demographic, the older demographic didn't have all the therapies that are available today that we have now. So we have a better opportunity to not go into a worser state than they did. And there are people who have gone through their entire life with MS and they're fine. But then there are some people who end up being wheelchair bound, but there is no specific path that everybody's going to have. It's an unknown, and it can be scary at times, but building a support system around you and having a community is a super helpful function that will lead to a successful journey of yourself. And again, you have your up days, your down days, but as long as you have that, it's what really counts. And I am personally on the associate board as the vice president of the board of membership. So I get the opportunity to speak out to a lot of new members who want to help, who have that same passion that I do. What can I do to help? Either they have it, or a sibling has it, or a parent, or an uncle, aunt, anybody. So I know I've had a couple conversations with some of the people who were recently diagnosed, and they didn't know what to do. And they reached out, and we could either have a 15-minute conversation, or we could have an hour and a half conversation. And it's just, you take time with those people. And there was one girl who reached out to me, and she was interested in joining the board, and she was recently diagnosed, and I couldn't believe how much she had within her story, and how much it really helped that I could talk to her about things, because she had a lot of time alone, and she didn't have that sense of community. And I felt like if I could be that avenue for her, mm-hmm. and for anybody else within the board, I'm, you know, more than grateful to have that opportunity. So, I mean, as unfortunate as it is to get diagnosed with something that's a forever, mm-hmm. that's not a curable, and it's an unknown, you just try to make the best of it that you can, and just know that it's not a death sentence. It's an opportunity. What can you do to make a difference, and mm-hmm. to make a, you know, and change things? And I mean, today's the day to register to vote. So there's a lot of people who are advocating for voting. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of people within our community who reach out for advocacy and see what bills and rights we can have as living with MS, whether it's drug funding or health insurance, etc., to make a difference. And it could not only impact just the MS community, it could impact everybody living with an autoimmune disease. There's a variety of different things. You can have lupus, etc. And I just think it's really important for people to speak up and just not worry all the time. We've mm-hmm. got enough to worry about with mm-hmm. everything going on in this world. And if we can just build each other up and stay strong, that's what really matters.
So you opened up today with saying, you know, so I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
One is I was thinking about it when you said, you know, you're young, right? So I think the average person like myself, you know, before I met you, would think about this as being someone that's older, right? So, and you opened up the interview with saying that when you were diagnosed, you said, you know, I'm going to fight. I'm going to get this. I'm going to do this. So as a young woman, you know, kind of take me through that, I guess, emotional journey of saying, you know, I'm a young woman. This is, you know, for all intents and purposes, what the average bird like myself would have thought, you know, might have happened to someone later, right? And but mm-hmm. then you and your husband put, you know, your heads together and your hearts together and said, we're going to fight this. So kind of what lessons or what did that, you know, look like for you emotionally and mentally? Because I'm sure it must have been that you said at the end, you said, you know, a forever diagnosis. Mm-hmm. You know?
It right now it is a forever, because there is mm-hmm. Just when I was first diagnosed, I was young. I was recently married and I had a good job, but then with my job, I opened up and said that I had this disease, mm-hmm. and it started holding me back from my duties with my job. Mm-hmm. And it ended up ruining my career with them. They scored me low on things that they shouldn't have, because they held me back, and they ultimately fired me because I lived with MS. Mm. That was a huge struggle that I dealt with, and I went from depression to like the bottom of the bottom.
Right.
Oh. And yeah, it was really hard. It was a huge struggle for me and for Kenny, and I was grateful enough to have great friends and family members that surrounded us and helped build us up. Just because it was so hard, you know, we wanted to start a family, mm-hmm. and we didn't know what that looked like. And especially living with MS, I'm like, am I going to pass this to this? Mm-hmm. If I have a kid, I'm not sure. And there was just a bunch of uncertainties. Yeah. What I tried to do was, what can I focus on to make me happy and make me feel better? So what I would do is I focus on certain hobbies. So like I told you, I had a DIY fundraiser with painting. I love to paint. Mm-hmm. I love to sketch. And I try to focus things in a sense of doing art. And then also exercise is a huge thing that I know you're involved in too. And I try to put my energy into exercise because it's good for me with MS, but it's also a nice outlet. so that it can help relieve my stress. And I will say, being a part of the associate board, the positivity that you have there that helps build you up keeps you strong, and it keeps you going. And I think if I didn't have them as an outlet, I would not be as confident as I am today with living with this and advocating for it.
So I'm curious, and this, I didn't send this question to you, so it's kind of off the cuff, but I'm just curious, you know, if there's someone that's going to listen or is listening now, are there things that they can think about that they need to be, you know, considering if it's something that they think, you mentioned, you know, loss of feeling and things like that. I'm just curious as to what, I guess, signs or symptoms maybe that someone might think about, because it is such a, like I said, you hear about it, but you don't know a lot about it. I think that's
so people find out in a variety of different ways. It could be from loss of sensation in one part, like of your body. It could be within your hands. It could be on a whole side of your body. You could sensation. You can have nerve pain. You can feel pins and needles in your hands. One thing that's actually kind of funny is before my sister got diagnosed, and this is kind of why I thought I had it too, we would bounce things off of each other and be like, you know, do you ever feel like loose feeling in your fingers? I'm like, oh, it happens to me all the time. And then, do you ever put your chin down to your chest and feel a zing down your back? I'm like, oh yeah, that happened to me all the time. Those are prime symptoms of the beginning of MS, or just a show that you might have it.
Okay.
So what MS is in your brain, there's myelin, which is a nerve coating.
Okay.
That myelin depletes and exposes the nerve. Depending on where it lands in your brain is where it's going to send a signal. And then within that signal, it can either cause a disability, depending on how close it is to your spinal cord, or it could just be a numbness, a tingling, or a shooting pain. If your symptoms last longer than 48 hours, that's a sign that you should reach your doctor. And if you don't have a neurologist, if you haven't been already diagnosed, then you should reach out to your general practitioner and see about getting an MRI if they feel that your symptoms are in alignment with having the disease.
Yeah.
One other thing to mention too is there's two different forms of it too.
Okay.
There's relapse remittant, which is less severe, and that has symptoms that kind of can happen, and then you can kind of rehabilitate from them. So it's not like it's a permanency with a symptom, but the progressive version is more of the wheelchair bound or disabled version of MS, and relapse remittant can lead into progressive if it's not treated.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's just like I said. I mean, I'm not diagnosing anybody, but I'm just curious because I think you said it somehow earlier. You know, you hear about it, but you don't really know what it is. You know, people don't know what it is.
Right.
You know, without you telling me, and then knowing, you know, what things, you know, to think about looking for. But what I think is cool about it is that you're sharing, right? And you're sharing this story to tell people. And I also think it's cool that you've decided to kind of, you know, take it head on, and you know, you and Kenny and those around you that love you and care for you are just like, okay, we're gonna do this. But what about someone who, you know, you mentioned the people who maybe recently diagnosed, or you know, someone who is kind of maybe listening, they're here. They've gotten a forever diagnosis. And how can they turn that from, you know, you even mentioned you were in depression, you were in, you know, what advice would you give them to kind of turn that upside down and, you know, get back on that saddle again, because, you know, we all have work to do, right? And it's making a difference like you are, but I'm sure that that was hard for you to do when you were,
Yeah.
you know, in the tougher state. So what advice would you give to them, to somebody who might be recently?
Sure. So what I would say first off is don't Google, because it's the worst thing you could possibly do, like I said previously.
Yeah.
The other thing I would mention too, yeah, because it can take you down a rabbit hole that scares the hell out of you, and it's not worth your energy or time. One thing I would say too is that it's not, like I said before, it's not a death sentence. So you can make it what you want it to be. You can have it be terrible. If you fall down that road of depression and you don't treat your body right and you don't do good things for yourself, it just with anything, it's going to get worse. But if you do things to help prevent issues in the future, if you treat your body right, go see a therapist if that's something that is right for you. I mean, therapy is not right for everybody, but I know I personally have gone to therapy and it's helped me a ton. And there's a lot of people who don't understand what you're going through, and having an outlet of, like I said, a community to talk to is huge. And what I've always told everybody around me, if somebody got diagnosed, call me, text me, email me, message me, whatever you feel comfortable with, please do, because I'm happy to be a support for you, because we're in it together. It's an individual thing where one person has to feel like they're excluded and they're different, because we all struggle and we all need to kind of corral together and make a difference.
Now,
and
when you mentioned therapy, you do exercise. So do people go to physical therapy and outside therapy as well, emotional therapy, or is that?
It depends on, well, physical therapy is needed as if you have an issue, like where you had some type of mobility issue that arose from MS. That's been proven to help a lot of different people who have struggled with it. But also mental therapy, just going to speak with a person who can talk you through things, or just listen. Sometimes you just need somebody to listen. And I think that's what's really important.
Now, so after all that, so you're here, I guess, what inspired you to inspire others, you know?
I always just felt the need to speak up. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm an open book. If anybody asks me a question, I will tell it like it is. Just ask whatever you want. And I've always wanted to be an advocate. That's always something that I've liked to do. I'm very big on, girl power and standing up against people bullying against each other. I just, I remember back in high school, I'd see people picking on each other, and I would stand up for them and say, "Are you out of your mind? Take it up with me. I'll take it." It's just, I've always wanted to help.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's always been within me. And I just can't sit back and let things happen. It's just never been a part of my DNA to do that.
To let things happen to yourself or other people, for that matter, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I think when I wrote in the entry, just difference maker, right? Like that's what, I appreciate about you and about myself, and, a lot of us that want to make those choices to make differences. But I do find it, interesting, because I'm sure you meet people too, where, they may be diagnosed and they want to keep that a secret, and, it's the first thing from their mind. And there's nothing wrong with that. So
there's nothing
wrong with that at all. And I just always wonder what has some people, want, like you said, you're an open book, you'll share it, you will, give people facts and figures on it. And you know, even to the point of contacting you, but, and then others, you know, want to, and it's just interesting. It's an interesting dynamic to me because I can also respect the people who want to keep it to themselves, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that is so important. So we just a few more minutes left, believe it or not. I think here.
You're right. Guys.
It's just, I told you, it's just like talking to me in real life.
Right.
Oh, by the way, we went to that restaurant the other day. This restaurant. Yeah, random. I know.
Nice.
But we did. So what does the future hold for you? What does the future hold with this, you know, with your advocacy, with your difference making, and just with Taryn in general? What does the future hold?
Sure. I mean, there's so many different things I want to do. I remember when I was first diagnosed, I was like, okay, what can I do to raise funds for this? So I did my fundraising. I developed a brand, Hope, Strength, Courage. I didn't have the funding to kind of take it off the ground, but it, you know, it's something that can always happen. Where I wanted to make jewelry or do my own makeup brand and have a portion of the proceeds go towards that, or just do something, have my brand make a difference. But since that hasn't taken off the ground, I'm just my own brand at this point.
Yeah.
And what I can do is just still be a vital part to the MS community and continue to help with the associate board, continue to reach out to new members and to our current members, see how people are doing, and just stay involved. And
oh yeah,
what my future is, what I hope my future is seeing this disease through to the end, that we will find a cure and it will be a past.
Yeah. Yeah, I pray on that. You know, I pray on these things like MS to just, you know, somebody, you know, I don't know who, I don't know when, and I don't know how, and all the other things, but you know, definitely I want it to some people to have it and be a thing in their rear view, you know?
Yeah.
Look back and say, I had it, and here we go.
Right.
But like I said, applaud you for, you know, standing up, I think, as somebody young, as somebody female, you know, as somebody to, like I said earlier, to the average person that would never suspect, right? Like,
right.
I don't want to use, I mean, for all purposes, I don't know if this is the right word, but you know, to me, you're not what's stereotypical, right? Like I would think of somebody probably older than you, in my not knowing. Somebody's saying it's more understood clinically than ever before, which is super promising. So yeah, so that's a whole, you know, I really do want to know, like, I feel like I'm going to do this in 2021. I do want to do something else, bring people back, because I want to really know more about what it is. And I'm saying that even to myself, you know?
Yeah.
Because
it's a invisible disease.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
There's so many people out there that you would never be able to tell. If I didn't tell you I'm living with this, you wouldn't know. And to be honest with you, my current employer does not know, just because of my past experiences. I don't feel comfortable talking to them about it. A few coworkers know, but it's not broadcasted. I don't feel comfortable with that because of my past with it. But speaking with other people within the associate board, some of their bosses are amazing, and they go out of their way to help take them to treatment even. They give them time off, but they just make sure that they're comfortable. So like I said before, everybody's journey is different, and it's whatever you're comfortable with. I'm comfortable talking about it in public and a public platform like this, and with the associate board and everything. But just in my personal career path, it's not fitting right now. Could it be in the future? Maybe. If one of my bosses came to me and said, guess what, I got diagnosed with this, and I'd be like, you know what, me too. But we'll see.
I bet to me, it seems like there's probably more people that we know that we don't know, right?
Definitely.
And there sounds like there could be more people that have it that they don't know yet.
It could be. I think I lived with this since I was 22, and
Okay.
I wasn't diagnosed until I was 27.
Okay. Yeah.
So
That's where I don't know who said that exactly, but the clinic. I'm glad to hear that there's more.
my sister.
Oh, was that your sister?
Hi,
You know,
Kayla.
about the clinical thing, because that is promising, like she said, and
Mhm.
you know, it's also surprising. I'm glad there's stuff going on in the background that
Yep.
to know there's stuff going on in the background for this that we don't, you know, we, like I said, as the average bird don't hear, because I like the word you use, invisible, and
Mhm.
because I think that's what it is. So I'd love to have you, you know, on, you know, in 2021 to kind of do a follow up and maybe
Definitely.
do more. I mean, I love focusing on you, but maybe do more focus on this and share with people, because like I said, I mean, even for me, I want to learn more.
Yeah.
So that I can just be aware, so I can be aware of
Yeah.
what goes around me and with my friends, you know?
I would love to come back, and I'd love to talk more about it. And, you know,
Yeah.
maybe in 2021, we'll have an update on research. And I know that there's some things coming down the pike right now that seem fairly promising of reparative treatment for that myelin I was talking about, the depletion. There's opportunity of it having a regrowth. That's what they're working on right now. So it could potentially start a path of.
So says great story and positivity, and great story and journey. Love your positivity. So
Thanks, Sarah.
someone else says, I know this guy, his name's C. He says, be blessed.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
We need all the prayers and blessings the MS community can get.
Yeah.
Stand by us, and we'll get through it.
And he says your story is uplifting.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
Good.
So I will let you go. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate our, like I said, fun friendship.
Yeah.
And Kenny says, C says, I am one with you. Oh, yeah, C.
Wonderful.
And then says, I think it's your sister too. So
yeah.
proud of you. My husband says, and C says we fight on. So you guys share the personality, by the way.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and he's from my hometown, in Virginia.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's
yeah. So my husband says hello to your husband. Someone else is saying, Taryn is one of the strongest women I know. Proud to be your friend. Julie says
Thanks.
that.
Love you, girl.
Girl. Yeah. So, I mean, I think, you know, just like I said, I appreciate you for coming on. I appreciate you for, you know, for sharing. I'm so glad we random chance, you know, met. My husband says hello to your husband.
Right back at him.
So I know, tell Taryn and Kenny I said hello. And I will contact you in a few minutes.
Okay, sounds great.
Bye, girl. Love you.
I love you, girl. Talk to you soon. All right. Bye.